Hi, welcome to the Last Word podcast. I'm Nick.
I'm Josh.
Today we're going to be going through our AFC NFL 2026 predictions.
Let's
get it. All right, starting with the Baltimore Ravens. Me and Josh have them at 14-3 for a good reason. Their defense is definitely getting rebuilt. They got Jesse Minter from the Los Angeles Chargers, who's a defensive-minded head coach, and they got the big signing Trey Hendrickson. So that side of the ball should be taken care of. And obviously you have Lamar Jackson, who should be healthy this year. Knock on wood that also Derrick Henry stays healthy. They did lose Tyler Linderbaum, but I think the structure offensively and defensively will be there. And they're gonna be a very hard team to beat this year.
Yeah, I gotta agree. They hit this offseason perfectly. They had poor defensive coordinator last year. They brought in Jesse Minter. They had no edge rush. They brought in Trey Hendrickson. They had no interior O line. They drafted Vega Ione and signed John Simpson. This team, I can really see being top 5 in both categories this year. Because all you needed was a defensive coordinator, let Lamar Jackson run the other side of the ball. This is an easy favorite to be. I'd say the 1 seed in this conference. The Cincinnati Bengals. This is a team I think you and I both agree if they can just make the playoffs, that's where magic can happen.
Uh-huh.
But I think if Joe Burrow stays healthy this year, they're at least a 10-win team. Last year wasn't looking good. Last few years have been looking good because their defense has been atrocious. But hopefully with the signing of Boye Mafe to go into an edge rusher room with Miles Turner, Shamar Stewart to form a rotation to hopefully replace the impact of Trey Hendrickson, as well as trading for Dexter Lawrence, which wasn't a bad trade because the Bengals really couldn't guarantee there'd be a defensive player at the 10th overall pick. And Dexter Lawrence should be able to put enough pressure on the interior O-line and draw enough tension to give those other 3 edge rushers some breathing room to put pressure on the quarterback. But obviously, it all just depends on what kind of impact sexual Dexter will have, as well as if Joe Burrow can really stay healthy this season.
Yeah, I'd say Dexter Lawrence, I think, has always been a pretty underrated piece. You just know he'll always be ready to go, no matter what the situation calls for. You see here in the tail of the tape, they were 30th in defensive points per game. I think if they can get that to at least 20th, this team can and definitely will make the playoffs. And like you said, if they make the playoffs, I think they can have a pretty deep playoff run.
Yeah.
All right, Cleveland Browns. Like the season outlook says, it's the Arch Manning race. I thought I was being pretty brutal with a 3-14 record, given that they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. Josh has them at a cool 1-16, which I think is kind of crazy. Obviously, the big thing that happened here was Myles Garrett leaving, who I think is a top 3 player in the NFL. And I think when it's all said and done, he'll be a top 3 edge rusher of all time. They do get Jared Verse, who is a great young raw player in his own right, but I think you're going to see in Browns games that it's not going to be quite the same. They lose basically the whole O-line. They lose Kevin Stefanski. So the big key for the Cleveland Browns is not winning games. Just act like you're trying, even though you're not really that good, and maybe you can land yourself Arch Manning.
Yeah, I like the Jared Verse trade because he was trading, your past for your future. Myles Garrett was just never going to win in Cleveland, and that's the truth. He was going to win nothing major, so he gets to chase a ring. They get a future piece in Jared Verse, who should be a good edge rusher for next few years to come. I didn't like losing Kevin Stefanski. I think he was a really, really good head coach. There's no wonder why he instantly got signed by the Falcons. But yeah, like you said, the biggest thing that they can do is accidentally win games, and you're stuck with Shadur or Deshaun Watson or Dylan Gabriel or whoever puts on a Browns
Doesn't
quarterback
matter.
jersey. Yeah, but onto the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a sad team. This is a very sad team when I look at them.
He looks happy though.
I mean, it's like a dog, like a very old dog seeing its owner for the last time before yeah. Anyways, Michael Pittman Jr. I don't know if I like that addition too much. I mean, you traded for a large contract X receiver when you already have a large contract X receiver on your team. I mean, I guess things happen that way. I mean, they could have really used a guy like George Pickens this year with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, who knows? I mean, it's not easy to get George Pickens on the Steelers or any team. But anyways, Rico Dowdle. They also signed Rico Dowdle. I like Rico Dowdle a lot. I think he's a very special not very special running back. He's a very good running back. I think he can make a nice role for himself on the Steelers. They also signed Jamel Dean. He's been a good corner for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last few years. They lost Mike Tomlin and unfortunately got Mike McCarthy. I thought they would go younger at head coach like they have historically actually went young at head coach. Having a coach for 20, 25 years, letting him retire, and then going younger at head coach. I thought they would repeat that, not go for another old head coach who, I mean, hasn't won anything major in a long time. But hopefully Mike McCarthy, he is known for bringing the best out of quarterbacks. Hopefully he can reignite the spark in Rodgers' eyes. If not, and if TJ Watt can't return to form and lead this defense, this team is, I mean, they don't have Mike Tomlin, so they're not obligated to go 500 anymore.
I think 7-10 is kind of disrespectful. I think this is a team who can outperform the record that I'm giving them. A lot of good key additions. They really only lost Mike Tomlin. And I think you should put more respect on Mike McCarthy's name. I mean, you could say the Cowboys, had a good roster. But the point is he won 36 games in a 3-year span. So, I mean, you can't say he's like Peter Griffin or something. Like he's a very renowned head coach and very respected around the league. And like you said, TJ Watt coming back, I mean, he's just been struggling with injury these last couple years. I think he's got some more in the tank. This defense will definitely outperform 30th in points per game like they did last season. I think this team could make the playoffs, honestly, in my opinion. Denver Broncos. There's a lot of orange on here, and that's because there's not many words, and that's because not really much happened. I mean, they didn't really have any draft picks. They made the big addition with Jalen Waddle, who I think is really going to help this offense. And although they did lose John Franklin Myers, you do have Bo Nix coming back, who I think me and Josh both agree could have helped them make and even win the Super Bowl had he been healthy. 14-3 last season. I don't think they're going to go 14-3 again. Naturally, these inflated records tend to regress a bit. But this is still a very elite team, and you could make a case that they could be another Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah, that's the thing is repeating as the 1 seed is extremely difficult to do in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not expecting that from them. I'm expecting them to make the playoffs at the very least. That's like their floor as being a playoff team. They added Jalen Waddle, who I hope can actually take off as the number 1 receiver in Denver, but it really all depends on how Bo Nix comes back from that injury. The Kansas City Chiefs. This is a team that is Super Bowl favorites, I think, from the get-go. I think they're probably going to drop a few games with Patrick Mahomes coming back. But, I mean, they brought back Eric Bieniemy. I mean, I just don't know why they let him walk in the first place. I mean, I get he wasn't getting head coaching jobs. So, like, why did you let him walk when Patrick Mahomes looked his best with Eric Bieniemy calling plays. Instead, they brought in Matt Nagy, who I don't know when he ever had a good quarterback, but things happen that way. They also brought in Mansour Delane on the draft. He's, I think, a prototypical corner, I'd say. He's probably going to be a good Chief for 4 years, and then they trade him. They signed Kenneth Walker, who's actually a good running back, and he's not going to have Zach Charbonnet eating up touchdowns from him. Draft Kenneth Walker in fantasy this year. You're going to win your leagues.
That was my guy.
But they lost Trent McDuffie and the rest of their secondary in a trade. But they practically replaced most of it in the free agency and the draft. So it doesn't really matter. They also brought in Peter Woods to come be the understudy to Chris Jones. But really, the big success for this team is if Patrick Mahomes can remember, he is football Jesus. Last season was the crucifixion. This season is the resurrection. If they can do that, they can really take off as a team.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned Kenneth Walker, because Eric Bieniemy actually specializes in running back play. So Kenneth Walker, I think anyone who picks up Kenneth Walker in fantasy, you probably will win your league. I'm not gonna lie. But hey, 21st in offensive points per game last year. That just does not sound like the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they'll definitely be back this year. Rashee Rice, as long as he doesn't do anything crazy. Patrick Mahomes staying healthy. And man, this defense, they were 6th last season. I think they have room to grow, like you said. Because they just kind of develop secondary pieces. They got Peter Woods. They got Mansour Delane. They still have Chris Jones, who is just so big. Like he's so big in so many different ways in the interior. So yeah, this is the Chiefs. Like they will be back in the playoffs, and no doubt about it.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Steve Spagnuolo is an incredible defensive coordinator. He's been for a long time.
Hell yeah! All right, Los Angeles Chargers. I might have to apologize to the Chargers because I've always been a big Chargers believer. I've always had them making the playoffs. I think this year they're barely going to miss it. I think there's going to be so many teams that go 10-7, and they're just going to barely miss it. Obviously, the big departure, Jesse Minter. We really don't know how that defense is going to hold up. They did add Mike McDaniel. I think this offense is going to be better, but the defense might regress a little bit. And yeah, like the X factors say, it just depends on how good this offense is going to be. They did lose. They lost Keenan Allen and I think one other receiver. Look for Ladd McConkey to be a crazy piece, especially in fantasy. I'm going to be looking for Ladd McConkey to explode for over 1,000. But yeah, I'd say they're a playoff contender. They definitely can make the playoffs. I just think there's too much competition in the AFC.
Yeah, playoffs barely. They
At 9-8.
Oh, they're a good team. They have Mike McDaniel now as their offensive coordinator. He's extremely creative. I don't think he was a leader of men that a head coach should be. But I think as far as being an offensive coordinator, offensive mind, that doesn't have the responsibility of being a head coach, I think he's really good. And they have so many pieces. They have Omarion Hampton, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston. They had Oronde Gadsden. I think Mike McDaniel could really make something work with that and Justin Herbert. And then they brought in Akeem Ezador in the draft. He is older as a prospect, but he is, he's ready to go. I think he's ready to go in the NFL. All they lost with Jesse Minter, and you're right. I don't know how that defense will hold up without him because, they were really good with him. But let's go on to the Raiders. Raiders fans, have hope. Have hope for the future. You guys are going to hurt right now. You're going to suck, but you're going to have a lot of fun because, you guys got Fernando Mendoza. You get to watch him develop. I think a big key addition we left off here was Kirk Cousins, actually. I don't think Fernando Mendoza is going to start out the gate. I think we're going to see games of Kirk Cousins playing, Kirk Cousins taking the early beating. But they brought in Clint Kubiak, who is a good offensive coordinator, all respect. I mean, he was with the Seattle Seahawks and helped JSN hit a 1,700-yard season. I don't know if they have any receivers on this team, but Brock Bowers is there and Ashton Jeanty. So that should be a good trio for you for years to come. They got back Max Crosby in a refund. They signed Tyler Linderbaum to a crazy deal, but that actually makes things... I mean, if you look at rookie quarterbacks, they struggle reading defenses in the early parts of the years and making, audible play calls. So having an experienced and smart center really helps rookie quarterbacks develop. Thinking like Travis Frederick and Dak Prescott, for one example. They also rebuilt the Georgia defense on their defense with Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. I think they're both solid pieces in their own right, and they should hopefully help bring this Raiders defense up from the ashes. They lost Geno Smith. That's. I mean, I don't even know how you trade him. I mean, but we'll get to that. But it's the biggest thing is how good is Fernando Mendoza going to be when he does play, and if Ashton Dainty can get some hole on the O-line and get some legwork in.
Yeah, Ashton Jeanty, that's probably the biggest factor of probably the whole NFL season is if Ashton Jeanty can get whole. Clint Kubiak, I mean, I know you spoke very highly of Clint Kubiak, but I have nothing but hatred in my heart for Clint Kubiak. Anyone who drafted Kenneth Walker last year can understand my pain. He is probably 100 to 500 times the running back that Zach Charbonnet is, and they had about a 50-50 workload, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's blasphemous. I think it's insulting to the game of football, and I'm glad he's gone, and I'm glad Kenneth Walker finally has a place where he can feel like home. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the Raiders. I think they can be a pretty good team. I think they'll shock a couple people. They certainly won't be making the playoffs or anything. But yeah, this right here, Geno Smith leaving, I think is as important as anything on this list. But all jokes aside, Clint Kubiak, I mean, he was a very good play caller. Now he gets a shot to be, a head coach. And they added like 5 or 6 pieces. So this team is not going to be below 5 wins.
Yeah.
All right, Buffalo Bills. Same thing, year in and year out. As long as Josh Allen stays healthy, you have a shot to make the playoffs and go on a deep playoff run. Yeah, I mean, me and Josh both have them going 10-plus wins. They add DJ Moore, who I think people are kind of underrating. I really think DJ Moore is going to be an important piece for this team. We'll see how Joe Brady does. I think that's going to be a huge X factor because Sean McDermott was a very good head coach in his own right. And yeah, I think it's going to all depend on the offense. How is Josh Allen going to react to this new offensive system?
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget about the Bills is Joe Brady's been there. He's an internal hire. He led them to the 4th offense points per game last season. He led Josh Allen to MVP seasons. So it's just, can Joe Brady be the leader of the Bills now, not just the offensive coordinator? And they signed Jim Leonard to replace Sean McDermott's defensive play calling. I think Sean McDermott made questionable plays and questionable decisions while in Buffalo. He definitely had some questionable words about certain events in 2001. But Jim Leonard, I think, is a great defensive coordinator. He's going to be a head coach soon. And I think this team can be top 5 in both offensive defense with the new play calling on the defensive side of the ball, as long as Josh Allen can make something work with DJ Moore and stop watching Mahomes and everyone else win stuff for him.
And stop getting cooked.
Miami Dolphins. Oh boy, this is a. I mean, there's a dumpster fire here. Where do we start? They brought in Jeff Halfley. Hopefully, he can be. I think the biggest thing you see from him is, can the defense be good with a horrible team? They brought in Malik Willis. They signed him to a lot of money for 89 passes on the Green Bay Packers. Can he be good after he throws 89 balls? They also drafted Caden Proctor and Chris Johnson. I think one's a reach and one's a gem. We'll see which is which. They lost Jalen Waddle. They lost Minkah Fitzpatrick. They lost Tua. They lost Tyreek Hill. This just isn't the same Dolphins that, a few seasons ago we were seeing Tua throw for 5,000 yards, leading the league in passing yards, being an explosive offense. Being a team that was 11 wins consistently. They just didn't make the playoffs because it was a tough conference, but they were 11 wins consistently. I think their best hope is trying to get a quarterback next year or see if Malik Willis is actually good.
Yeah, I think ideally for the Dolphins, how you would want this to happen is Malik Willis turns into like a pseudo Lamar Jackson who can just make plays all over the field, but also have a low enough record to where you can snatch up like a Jeremiah Smith or another very high draft pick. So, but that's kind of unlikely to happen.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes when Jalen Tolbert's your number one receiver in Miami.
He's a bum. All right, New England Patriots. I think with the key addition of A.J. Brown, I think this team has the opportunity to be good. I mean, I do have them at 8-9, but I don't know. I just think the Mike Vrabel situation, I think it's going to bring morale down a bit. I know teams react to stuff like this a different way, but I think you have to look at a leader, look at his maturity, look to see, is he like a great guy? And when he's in the news for cheating on his wife, I don't know, that just kind of taints your leadership a little bit. Not to say that they can't be, good again or make the playoffs again going into the future, but I think just for this season alone, I think the additions of A.J. Brown and Vera Tucker and Kevin Byard, I think it's just not going to be enough. I think it's going to be a heavy regression season, and I think as the seasons go on, we'll see them come back to be the Patriots that we know them to be.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I mean, that's why we have A.J. Brown's ego on there, because he's a very large ego receiver, and they also signed Romeo Doubs to take some targets away from him, as well as Mike Vrabel's situation. That is going to be a large storyline hanging over this team all season. That's just how the NFL is. It's going to be hanging over them all season. It's going to be a joke. It's going to be everything, no matter what they did in the offseason. And I think they had a very, very good offseason. It's just going to be hanging over them all season. It's just where you're going to see how does this team bounce back from that, as well as bounce back from really getting your shit rocked in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, we also saw, Urban Meyer got caught doing some inappropriate stuff at a club, and then the Jaguars go 1-15. So I think these things really do matter.
Well, Urban Meyer was just, he also kicked his kicker. I think just him going to the strip club without his wife was probably the last straw for.
Yeah, I'm just saying, leadership is very important. I think it's underrated. The roster is good. It doesn't matter the head coach.
I think Mike Vrabel's a good leader. It's just how will this situation?
It's gonna taint him. It's gonna taint him a little bit.
The New York Jets. This team is tanking. You're tanking, guys. You brought in your commander, Geno Smith, your leader, to lead y'all to 2-15, hopefully. And you can draft Dante Moore, or maybe he's going to go back into the into the college system again to avoid y'all. And you can go 2-15 the next season to draft him again. Oh gosh, I mean the Jets, just y'all guys are garbage. Um, I mean I think it's just telling when Dante Moore is guaranteed to be the second overall pick by the Jets, and he decides to go back to college. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You traded for Minka Fitzpatrick and signed Demario Davis. I hope those are pieces that can teach your new players. I don't think they are, considering the contracts that are signed. I mean, Demario Davis has a 2-year of $11 million a year contract. Those seem like win now moves, and you guys aren't winning now. He also drafted David Bailey, who I think hopefully can develop to be a good edge rusher and not just be a bust. You also drafted Kenyon Sadiq and Omar Cooper, who are going to be good players in the league. Hopefully they aren't too good for Geno Smith to accidentally win wins. You lost Jermaine Johnson in a trade, as well as Quincy Williams. Aaron Glenn's going to be fired this year. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you brought in a defensive-minded head coach, and you're still 31st in points per game. It's not what you wanted to see. I mean, I know they weren't any special team, but you wanted to see at least 20th. I mean, considering the Jets' whole thing was at least their defense was solid. But yeah, the biggest thing is just try not to win games, but also try to get good rookie production, because you have a lot of rookies on your team. You really need to see them ball out this year.
Yeah. Excuse me. I really wouldn't be surprised if Geno Smith goes for over like 4,000 or 4,500 yards. I predict that this season's New York Jets will be the 2025 Arizona Cardinals, especially down the stretch. You saw people like Michael Wilson and Trey McBride just get like insane stats. I think you're going to see Kenyon Sadiq have a very good rookie season. You're going to see Omar Cooper start to develop really well. And David Bailey, I think David Bailey might be slightly overrated in my opinion. I don't think any of these pieces will be enough to put them, at least to save Aaron Glenn's job, like you said. I don't think anything will be enough. But I have them at 3-14.
Yeah. Sorry, Jets.
All right, the Houston Texans. I have always been really high on the Houston Texans. I think this is probably the biggest disparity that we have in terms of record. Well, actually, no, maybe no. That's not true. But 7-10 versus 10-7. You just have no faith in the Houston Texans, do you? I mean, I know they didn't. Well, actually, you think C.J. Stroud's a bum. Look, C.J. Stroud having an IQ, guys. I did not write that. I did not write that. I think C.J. Stroud is overhated. Yeah, y'all can let me know what you think in the comments or whatever. C.J. Stroud, I think, is a very respectable quarterback. He's at the very least a top 15 quarterback. He just was not protected last year. And Patriots defense was really good in the playoffs. It was raining. He did have a bad game, and people are crucifying him. Kendrick Perkins said that if C.J. Stroud was on fire and he had a glass of water, he wouldn't put out the flames on C.J. Stroud. I definitely think he's overhated. You brought in David Montgomery, who I think is a very good running back, Reed Blankenship, Braden Smith to come in and protect C.J. Stroud. I don't see many holes on this team, and I think this defense is a historically good defense. Okay, historically good. They will have a run game again. C.J. Stroud will have a very decent season. Again, I'm not saying he's a top 5 quarterback or anything like that, but they are definitely making the playoffs. Okay.
I agree with Kendrick Perkins.
Oh my God.
I think if I needed to piss and CJ Stroud was on fire, I wouldn't even piss. I would piss to the side of him, on his leg.
That's crazy.
CJ Stroud, he is buns. He is riding off one good season. Not even good. It was a good rookie season. But if it was a regular quarterback season, we'd call it mediocre. It was a good rookie season. He's only where he is because this defense is probably one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen. DeMeco Ryans is a hell of a defensive play caller, and he has built this defense from the ground up. Derek Stingley 2 years ago was a draft bust. That's just the truth. He was looking just mediocre. D'Amico Ryans comes in. Derek Stingley's now like one of the best corners. He brought the talent out of Derek Stingley that's always been there from LSU. Will Anderson is one hell of an edge rusher. Daniil Hunter on the other side. You have Kamari Lassiter, who was an incredible find for D'Amico Ryans. You have good safeties. You have good linebackers. You signed Reed Blankenship to help you, as well as bringing in David Montgomery, who I think always deserved a chance in the NFL. I'm excited to see how David Montgomery plays. I think Texans fans would agree with me. If you want to have a good season, start David Mills.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No. Keep it on here. I have some things I want to say. This is the man. He's glazing Derek Stingley now. He called him Derek Stinky. He called him Derek Stinky a year ago because he thought he was overhyped, overrated. Now look at him. The same thing is going to happen this year. You're going to be so low on the Houston Texans. 10 bans in your account if they go less than 8 wins. 10 bans in your account. That's how confident I am. What is wrong with you? 7-10? You know what? I might want to change my record and say 11-6 or 12-5. 7-10 is absolutely blasphemous, but whatever.
I can't wait to have 10 bans. If you even have 10 bans in a year.
Yeah, whatever.
The Colts. This team, I think you guys had a hope for 8 games. I mean, you've been through the carousel after Andrew Luck. Then you got hope for 8 games, and it's all gone because Daniel Jones died, apparently. And then on top of that, you didn't sign anyone. You lost 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, who is apparently 23, not 25. I hope he says he's 23 on Snapchat too. Who knows? He might be lying there too. You got rid of Michael Pittman though. Good job. You also lost Zaire Franklin and Kenny Moore. Bad job. I don't really know what to say about this team. I mean, their biggest thing, you run commit Jonathan Taylor, and the team goes nowhere after you run commit Jonathan Taylor. That's what we saw last season. They started run committing Jonathan Taylor, and the team fizzled out. And Daniel Jones had to play football, and Daniel Jones remembered he's not that good at football. I guess your best hope is, can Anthony Richardson maybe come back? I mean, I don't know why even draft him if you're not going to play him, but I'd play him if that was me. But yeah, you go, dude. You go.
I feel like we're a lot different than consensus. I think a lot of people have the Colts like 7 or 8 wins. I think the big X factor this season is going to be Daniel Jones' Achilles. Because as you know, we saw Kirk Cousins try to bounce back from an Achilles injury when he got traded to the Falcons. And he just looked like a mess. I mean, can't really throw out routes, can't throw with a lot of power, can't throw with a lot of touch. And, I mean, we saw that, especially with Phillip Rivers, who he might as well have had a torn Achilles because, you know, he's old, doesn't have the same arm strength, arm power. So what did teams do? Like you said, you know, run commit Jonathan Taylor. If you can stop Jonathan Taylor and force Daniel Jones to, you know, make big plays, especially while he's injured, I just don't think that's going to work. So that's why I have him going 3-14, which might be shocking to a lot of people.
Yeah, don't let their 8 wins last year really fool you guys. Come on now. Yeah, it's you.
All right. The Jacksonville Jaguars. This was a very interesting team last season. Because if I'm not mistaken, they went like 5-4 or something. And then after that, they rattled off. My math might not be correct, but what I'm trying to say is they won the rest of their games. So it looks like this is a team that really does well down the stretch of the season. And that's why I have them making the playoffs. I think I barely have them edging out the Houston Texans. Yeah, Travis Hunter got injured. We'll have to see how he bounces back. They did lose Travis Etienne and Devin Lloyd, but with they have Liam Cohen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he came from the Bucks. Yeah, I think Liam Cohen last year showed that he was deserving of the job and did a really good job with it. So I think as long as you have him, as long as you have Trevor Lawrence, one thing that's not on here is how Trevor Lawrence's relationship with BTJ bounces back if it can. I think if it does, you have great pieces around you. I think this team can make the playoffs again.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think they have a shot. I think a big thing that isn't talked about is they went 13-4 with no rookie production because Travis Hunter was injured, and they didn't they didn't miss a step. Hopefully, he can come back and either develop. And I think they're moving him to corner, so he can be a good corner for them. Yeah, they lost Travis Achan. It's Achan, dude, not Etienne. He told us that. Apparently, it's Achan.
I'm gonna call him Etienne. I don't care.
But yeah, Liam Cohen is a really good head coach. That's all you need to know. Hopefully, he can do something with BTJ. Because he did something with Jacoby Myers last season.
By the way, I want to shout out a player on the Jacksonville Jaguars, Parker Washington. Very underrated receiver. Very good in the punt return, kick return game. If you're in deeper fantasy leagues, choose Parker Washington.
All right, dude. Tennessee Titans, here is our actual biggest disparity. I have them as a dark horse playoff team. You have them as bottom in the league, bottom feeders. I think they had an insane offseason and no one's talking about it. They brought in Robert Saleh, who, the Niners were decimated on defense and they still had a good defense under Robert Saleh. They brought in Brian Dable, who is, I think, a good offensive coordinator. They brought in Jermaine Johnson on a trade. I think he has a lot of potential as an edge rusher, and he's reunited with Robert Saleh. They signed Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he's a good receiver. Hopefully a good number 2 receiver to Carnell Tate, who they drafted. They also brought in a couple of defensive pieces to really fill out that defense. I think just the biggest things for success for this team is can Carnell Tate break out and be a number 1 for Cam Ward? If you watch Cam Ward play, he would escape the pocket, juke out like 4 defenders, toss it off his back leg on an accurate ball, 70 yards downfield, just for someone to drop it. Like, he was doing everything just for his receivers to drop the ball. His receivers were garbage. Utter garbage. They would drop the ball 9 out of 10 times. You had to feel bad for Cam Ward. So hopefully Carnell Tate and Wan'Dale Robinson can at least be sure-handed receivers. And hopefully Carnell Tate can break out for Cam Ward. As well as can the defense be good rebuilt.
All right, time to explain my 4-13 record. I'd say this one is more of just a gut feeling, but I'll try to explain it a little bit. I just don't think Robert Saleh is that good of a head coach. I think he fits much better into a coordinator position. And Brian Dable's fat, so I don't think he's going to do a good job. I think definitely the offense will be more explosive. The defense will make some more plays. But I think this is going to be a team who just is right there in a lot of games, but just can't get over the hump and win the games that they have to. I know the line is pretty good for Titans +6 wins this season. I think that's going to be a trap for you bettors out there who bet on NFL futures. I think they're not going to hit 6 wins, and I have them 4-13 because they do have a pretty tough schedule also. Not the hardest, but like I said, they're going to be right there in a lot of games. They're just not going to be able to get the wins they have to.
Disagree. I think Robert Saleh is a good head coach. He just got cursed with Zach Wilson. He got Zach Wilson, and then he was bad, and then they traded for Aaron Rodgers, and then I think Robert Saleh got a little happy there, so Aaron Rodgers got injured 2 minutes into the season, and he got stuck with Zach Wilson. He was just cursed with Zach Wilson. I think Robert Saleh is a good head coach.
Sophomore slump for Cam Ward.
Anyways, y'all guys have a great day. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and comment. Please subscribe. We need more subscribers. At least interact with the video so we get more pushes in the algorithm. But thank y'all.
Next up, we probably have the NFC.
We do.
Either the NFC or we'll go back to doing some all-time teams.
Oh, it's definitely NFC. Yeah.
We'll do NFC. All right. NFC coming up, y'all.
Y'all have a good day.
See ya.